was eating dirt, and rightly so. I laughed into the weeds and gravel, despite the fact that my teeth had clacked together painfully, and there were now scrapes and grass stains all over my face. When Sandro wanted me down for a spell, he sure as hell could make it happen. There was something splendidly humbling in that. Ow!
Oh my god, you're like a little spider monkey.
I rolled onto my back, wincing as I caught my breath, and wearing a big grin I had no means of suppressing. Told you I was fast.
Fast?
I heard the shuffling of cloth and looked to him. Are you taking your coat off?
If you're going to keep dragging me around in circles by it and throwing the tail over my head, I am sure as shit going to take off my coat.
Hey, I never claimed I knew how to fight fair.
Ha!
Does this mean I finally get to see if you have a shell? He had one, of course, and I'd shouldered into it enough times mid-spar to know. Someone clearly made his family's clothing as a specialty. The front of his torso was humanoid enough to warrant a proper shirt, and the sleek black cotton he was now wearing sported no obvious stretch marks. And it was unmistakably a shell. The edges could be seen flaring out all about his shoulders, sides, and even slightly above the tops of his hips. The profile of it hugged rather tightly against him for a turtle shell, and obviously could not have been retracted into any sense of the word, but it was made of thick, broad, bone-reinforced, chitinous plates. It was ridged, leathery, a little spiky in a few places, and dark brown. It was a turtle's shell. He turned to toss his trench coat off to the side, and I placed my palms flat against the leathery scoots just to feel them. Wow. The plates must have been able to strain or slide against one another a bit. Sandro was much more flexible and spry than a permanently stiff spinal cord which would have allowed. Why would... Was he blushing? Oh. Ha! Oops. Someone didn't get touched much outside of a fighting ring. I sharply retracted my hands with a big grin and a meep of, "Sorry!"
Warn me the next time you randomly decide you're going to grope me.
I grinned ear to ear and bluffed a wild one like a poker queen. I'm completely fat-chested, or else I'd offer to trade. Sandro's eyes widened as he lunged at me in a fury, probably to grab me by the scruff and hoist me off the ground and shake the pure evil out of me. But I danced out of his way, and he had to catch himself in scrambling after me. He'd messed up, finally, and I slid to the ground to roll into his legs. Holy crap! Even tripping him was painful. Do I win?
You do not fight fair.
Never. I flopped onto my back on top of him, crossed a knee, and folded my arms behind my head so I could peer up at the moon. No stars were really visible from within the city. He twisted to glance back incredulously at me from the corner of his eye.
Are you seriously using me as a couch?
Of course not. You're more of a bench. I corrected him as if his assumption had been absurd.
Okay. You are ridiculous, you silly clown.
Yes.
If you actually want me to tutor you after this spar, you have to listen and not play annoying pranks when you're supposed to be paying attention. Because I could seriously end up hurting you with one badly timed hit, and you hug so close you're hard to see. Like you're fearless and want to play Russian roulette with being stepped on. Right, I see through that face. Your style is fun, but only until somebody managed to get hold of you, and your footwork isn't good enough to stop them. That's gonna swell, ain't it?
Hazard of the occupation. Tell me more about my footwork.
And you'll take me seriously?
Perhaps I am giddy about suddenly having a best friend, but I assure you I am capable of seriousness at most other junctures in my life, and therefore ought to be just as capable of it now. And that was true. I was nearly mute when watching other people play at Parker, and didn't budge from my seat at all.
New best friend. Show me your stance then. And no more tricks or jokes unless we are actually sparring.
You'll allow me to joke while we're actually sparring?
Yeah, fighting while distracted by a loudmouth pixie is apparently educational for me. Somehow even worse than fighting Michelangelo.
Orange Turtle's existence confirmed. Wait, no, Anastasia, you have never read comics, ever. Definitely not ones about turtles.
Alright, show me how you'd throw a punch and we'll start from there.
We walked along the wharf where only workers ought to have been, amidst cranes, forklifts, pulleys, boxes, and the soft sounds of water. Here and there, we dodged a late night work crew. We had nowhere to be and not much to do, if we weren't going to look for trouble. But it seemed there was no end to random things we could talk about, and we just walked about. It was strange to think that walking aimlessly around for hours could be fun, but it was. The breeze was nice. You know, I don't think I've ever seen more stars than 4. There's the 2 in Ursa Major, and like 2 other random ones, and a plane. There's always a plane. There's never not a plane.
Me neither. You've never lived far out from a city either?
No, I guess there were a few times I might have seen stars while we were traveling, but it never occurred to me to look. Maybe I should ask my dad to take me camping someday. I lived in New York once, but I was only 6. You must have been adorable at 6.
And almost as short as you.
Hey!
Did you lose a fight with a concrete sidewalk?
Yeah, but I sat on the bastard what done it. So never fear. What have you been up to? Anything fun?
Not this time. And watch your language, squirt. I was actually tracking the fallout from the failed kidnapping of Helena Wayne. Do you think anyone might have seen your face just before the incident? Someone who might have been able to place you at that gas station and make you a suspect in following the mob caravan?
Oh, I talked to the gas station attendant. Then I disappeared into the bathroom to take your call and crawled out the window, but I forgot to ever double back and crawl back in again.
Well, the gas station attendant saw your face, and the mob thugs saw you in costume, and both versions of you had the same height. The police station is looking for info matching your description, and mob moles are listening in to see if they hear anything.
That looks a lot like Tara Smith. Even if they got my nose wrong. Flynn Rider moment. I was sloppy.
You were sloppy. Though it'll blow over easy enough. With the mob and the police, no one has to take more than 6 seconds to reach up to the chalkboard and put another mark under. Instances of copycat vigilantism by stupid child. We still aren't going back to Gotham anytime soon.
And now Batman knows about me.
Bingo! But hey, he now literally has eyewitness reports that you use smoke bombs and lob throwing knives to knock guns out of people's hands, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the man's own combat methodology. To say nothing of how you literally rescued his only child. Maybe he'll be flattered.
You said you didn't even want him curious about me.
No, but if I absolutely must choose between curious and judgmental, I suppose I'll begrudgingly settle for the former. So, what have we learned?
Always remember your own plan, even if exciting things happen in the middle. And go crawl back into the window you crawled out of?
Well, I was going to go with don't leave any witnesses and kill all the thugs. But your way does sound a lot more heroic.
Don't worry, I keep 2 separate binders in my head for your advice, Dad. One labeled good, and the other labeled evil.
Your storage system is that atrociously black and white? I'm disappointed.
Well, obviously, it's an entry requirement that advice needs to be funny for it to even get into my filing room. So, really, at this point, I'm not sure what you're expecting, Dad. I had to sort the funny somehow, and funny and really funny just weren't cutting it. Admittedly, I should probably have a third binder for naughty, but there were so many pages of notes I had to rent out a whole file cabinet instead, and there are manila folders in there for everything from just throw slime at them to strategic banana peel placement. I mean, you raised me.
Black and white is sort of a good color scheme for you, actually. I think I need to think about this further. Do I really suggest slime to enough of life's problems that you have a whole folder for it?
There's a folder for slime, a folder for confetti, a folder for glitter, a folder for slime plus glitter, a folder for slime that specifically looks like boogers but happens to contain hallucinogens, a folder for actual boogers, a folder for simultaneous but strategic application of slime, confetti, and glitter such that it